Hello, thank you for joining us. This is Platform. I'm Ruth Aguilera. It is a brand new year and the holiday is over. Many who traveled will be planning on returning after the celebrations. More importantly, safe journeys to respective destinations is very important. Road traffic crashes pose a significant risk to public safety and health. The situation of road traffic accident in the country has been alarming and particularly disturbing, despite several efforts by the Federal Road Safety Corps to sensitize road users on safety rules while driving. Reports by the FRSC says more than 3,767 people lost their lives in 7,011 road crashes. Now that's between January and September in 2024. Some key players in the transport sector are advancing the discourse on ways to promote evidence-based actions to prevent and eventually stop further road traffic deaths and injuries through effective emergency response systems, skilled paramedics, and well-equipped ambulances. They say, well, it can reduce the effect of accidents and save more lives. The FRSC has pledged its commitment towards making effective use of different platforms to get the message on road safety to the populace by appealing to the conscience and consciousness of road users. Accidents don't just happen, they're caused. Every accident on the road is not just a mere occurrence, but has been instituted as a result of one factor or the other. Now, this is where compliance to safety rules on the roads must be adhered to by road users. On Platform, our focus is curbing road crashes efforts so far. And our guest is the Assistant Court Marshal, Court Public Education Officer, Olusegun Ogungbemide. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's our pleasure to have you join us. And we'll just go straight by letting you in on who our panelist is for today. One of our correspondents here in NTA, Oyeyemi Ajayi, the man that is in charge of road affairs in NTA. Thank you so much, Oyeyemi.
Thank you very much.
All right, Assistant Court Marshal. So when we look at road crashes on our road, this is not something that is new. It's not a new conversation. Exactly. It occurs. We've seen it happen. Some people are still bearing the brunt. You know, it's really sad when you see lives are lost or people get injured. But if you want to keep stock or, you know, look at the records for 2024, how did the Corps, you know, manage the situation to reduce the numbers?
Thank you very much. Let me first of all greet Nigerians Happy New Year and for the cooperation we enjoyed in the course of the end of the season when we had to manage the traffic, and also to appreciate Mr. President for the alternative that was created where he made the pronouncement that the railway should be made available to all citizens. It assisted in reducing the burden on the highway. And despite that, we still manage. What played out was, let me say, determination of the Corps to reduce road traffic crashes in line with our policy trust as put in place by the Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed, who came on board and he said there must be a change in narrative. There were so many policies he put in place because we realized that no matter the level of enforcement, you can only manage 15% of the problem we are trying to tackle. But policy will always play a major role because policy will take care of majority, while enforcement will only manage the few defiants. And that's what we dwelled on. We were able to put all our arsenals in place, and outside the few pockets of incident that happened that claimed more lives, like the incident at Jigawa where close to 200 people were killed, we'll have been celebrating that we had a real reduction in fatality. 2024, because by virtue of the record available to us, we were able to reduce road traffic crashes. But the fatality was where we had the challenge. Because even the crash that occurred, there was no fatality as a result of the primary incident. But the secondary incident, as the aftermath of the crash, where people were trying to scoop fuel, was what led to the huge fatality that were recorded. By and large, what we had was determination, established facts that we have to face this thing head on, and the leadership that says there must be a change. Like, look at our deployments at the end of the year, more than 42,000. Yeah. That is 28,000 regular marshals and 14,000 special marshals were deployed. All the equipment that are required, that in case there's obstruction, prompt removal of obstructions. For emergency situation, we had even less than 10 minutes response time because we had our emergency arsenals well deployed, that when there are crashes, our men were always prompt in attending to them. Because one thing that is certain is a universal thing. Yeah. Crash must occur. But what we are against, in line with the safe system approach, is that even when it occurs, let life not be involved. Okay. These are the things we reel out that really assisted.
I will remember when I think I had a conversation with the commercial, and you talked about the fact that there had been a level of reduction between January and October. I think about 12% of reduction compared to 2023. And what were some of the factors that you could say were quite key in ensuring this serious reduction?
I would want to pick it from the time it came on board. It came with 6 policy trust funds, which really assisted in transforming the system. One, he said we need to rejig operations. And how did he place the card on board? He said we have some of our commands that are in Lungus that are not relevant to the challenges of the road. That's road management. And he gave the directive that all those commands that were not having direct impact on the corridors should be realigned with the corridors. That means we have more visibility. Yeah. And you know that when there are visibility on the highway, it cautions the recklessness of the drivers. He did that one. Secondly, there was this digital transformation of operations that we had enough of analog. In as much as FRSA had been placed on technology, we built the strength of FRSA on technology over the years. But he said there can be an advancement. So let us digitalize some of our operations. He came up with a concept of, placing a tool in the hands of the commuter. That is what we call FRSA mobile app. It contains a lot of, facilities that could assist while you're on transit. The driver concentrates on what he's doing, but road safety is shared responsibilities. While the driver is driving, I'm handy with a tool that can assist the driver. Yes. When it's going beyond the road, stipulated speed limit, I have it already in my hand.
But the question
via the application. Yes.
Mr. Ogungemide, yes. The question is, are people, readily having that app on their phones, on their mobile devices? Are people making good use of it? Because I remember when it was launched, exactly. It was a good thing, a good initiative, real-time monitoring. You could just, send a message immediately. So are people taking advantage of that? If
it's not being utilized, I will not be celebrating it now. Because I'm talking as a result of the feedback we receive from members of the public, that especially during the end of year journeys, that they were able to confirm that this thing is actually active. Okay. Because when you are driving, you'll be able to know the speed your driver is going. So if he's going beyond the speed limit, they were able to caution the driver. And there's one unique thing about the black spots. You will see the signal that there are, when you are approaching a black spot, few kilometers to it, the app will tell you that there's a black spot ahead. You can also pass the message to the driver that we have a situation at hand, there's a black spot ahead, be cautioned. And we also have one that is quite unique, which is eyewitness accounts. In case there's an emergency, you can on real-time transformation of information, transmitting of information from the highway to our situation room. That is being monitored real-time. These were all the facilities that were put in place that made us to have easy access to assist in rescue operations. And at the same time, we have an ambassador in each vehicle that goes on the highway. As long as you are a commuter, you are handy with the tool, you are our ambassador. Because we cannot do route lining, irrespective of the number. But that person inside that vehicle is representing us. And that was the essence of that too. And outside that, one unique thing that the Corps Marshal also did is to retrain all the personnel. There have been a series of problems, complaints in the past about the conduct of our men. And he said, you cannot give what you don't have.
Exactly.
If we have not tutored these people on how to behave or to conduct themselves, then if they do any misconduct, we might not, they are justified. So he said a major policy that is put on ground when it came is that there must be capacity building of all the staff.
But is there a readily available portal people can just go to and make complaint? Because some people, some of us, have had experiences, you know, with officials of the Corps, which wasn't pleasant because of their conduct, you know, towards road users, which is not appropriate.
You are very right.
Okay.
When I was the sector commander at Lagos State, I deliberately refused to react to social media, you know, information, because I said there were formal platforms put in place for administrative issues. So if you post it on social media, it's not for me. Maybe it's for public consumption. But if you know you are looking for justice, it is out there. The number of the sector commander, the website of FRSC. I've just given you a platform now, the FRSC application. We have the toll-free 122. So all these means of reaching out to the establishment are where they are in the public forum that you can access, rather than being, I don't want to use anything, a negative word here, because some of what are released outside there are out of being mischievous. It's not that they don't know the route to go and reach out to members of the management. So you can access through our website, you can access through our free toll-free 122, you can access through the FRSC mobile app that is raving now, and you can also move to the nearest command. We have all our commands distributed all over the Federation. When you get there, ask for the leadership of that command. The mandate has been given to them to listen to every complaint from members of the public. But that is the reason why we are there.
Now, if you look at it for a while, there has been this move by the Corps talking about the need to reduce night travels.
Exactly.
Looking at night travel generally, based on statistics, it's been said that it contributes majorly to crashes. What efforts? Yeah, you've been talking about awareness, you've been campaigning against it. What other effort do you think maybe FRSC or the government generally can engage in order to reduce this drastically?
Yes, thank you very much. When you look at the issue of night travel, we had our challenges per se in 2024 due to the fact that the law does not permit us to stop people from traveling at night. So we did more of advocacy, and it became more disturbing because the largest part of fatal crashes that were recorded in 2024 happened late into the night or early hours when the visibility was still quite low. And this even prompted Mr. President to give the directive that we should, you know, up our games when it comes to the issue of enforcement at night. One would know that security-wise, it could be an issue. We are not harmed. I'm very sure you are aware of that. And when it comes to issue of emergency, mobilizing our men, we operate 24 hours, but they are on standby. So when a crash occurs, we mobilize them to the highway. But when the crash occurs at an odd location, odd location, where their security cannot be guaranteed, because the law of nature says you think care of your own safety first. Then we now start mobilizing other agencies to support us.
I was going to ask
our response time might not be the same as theirs.
Okay.
When we had all our tools, our emergency items on ground with us to pull out, to assist the victims, at the time you start asking for cover, they will still have to take permission from their own authority too. And somebody is dying. So these are the things we say, okay, when it comes to issue of road safety and safety generally, it has to be a kind of all-encompassing, that you have all it takes for you to be able to meet up with that emergency need. So what we did is that we had a lot of advocacy during 2024 as regards night traveling, which is the best we could do at that moment. And we were also able to extend our night presence, especially during the yellow tide season enforcement, with maybe natural about 10 p.m. so that we know some people will still want to, travel late in order to be able to manage that situation. But when it comes beyond 10, it's just standby rescue team that are always sent to assist. Well, by and large, the best we could do at that moment was to continue to give advocacy for people to know the evils that is associated with night traveling. One, the visibility is impaired. Two, you cannot be sure of that road you passed yesterday, whether it's still the same condition. Secondly, when there's emergency, attention cannot really be guaranteed like when we have it during the day, because a lot of factors are involved. And these are the reasons why we say, let us travel less at night. And
another key issue is the issue of overspeeding and overloading. I know that has been at one of the focal points for enforcement drive by the Corps.
Exactly.
Overloading is one that's I know it's a big burden that the Corps is contending with, but overspeeding, on the other hand, is another monster. We have the speed limit device that was launched some years back.
It's still
Are
there.
people really complying?
Yes, for now we limited the issue of speed limit device to commercial road users, to commercial vehicles, because we have this belief that we have the mandate to protect them. The man that owns the private car is still responsible to himself, but for commuters, it's our responsibility to protect them. That's why we started with the commercial vehicle. If you look at the percentage of compliance, it's above average. We know new things coming on board. You see reactions from people, especially they came with so many, excuses. Some say it will affect their engine, just to prevent the enforcement of the policy. But we realize that that is the way to go for now, because for us if I stay by the roadside to caution you, the moment you go through me, you continue your journey, you can increase your speed. But there's that man with you throughout that trip that is the speed limit device that tells you if you want to go beyond the 100 kilometers per hour, it drops you back, that you can't go. And we've also realized that some commuters have celebrated some commercial transporters that have speed limit device in their vehicle. Because when you go within the speed limit, there's a kind of comfort you have compared to someone that is going on excessive speed. Because in case there's any little distortion on that movement, you are gone. And if you record all fatalities, if you look at the fatalities outside those that came as a result of inferno, there is no fatalities that is recorded without speed. Because when you are within the speed limit, even when there are crashes, maybe you have injuries, not necessarily deaths. And that is why we said, okay, what we'll do is that he has given his directive, that's the commercial now, that maybe before we've taken this for granted by saying when you are arrested, go and fix your speed limit. But now, if you are arrested, you must fix your speed limits before you leave that office. Because what's the essence? Because the policy that cannot bite is an indication that the policy has failed. So he gave the directive that we are insisting, because we know the importance of speed limit device, we know it has assisted in reducing crashes, then we should be able to improve on that.
Now, I remember vividly that some times ago, for some time, the Corps has been in collaboration with the judiciary. And over time, or was sometimes last year, there was this commendation on some of the personnel who was maltreated or hit by a woman, talking about the woman that attacked him at their office. Many have talked about the fact that they've commended the level of decorum that the officer actually displayed, and many have also been calling for the woman's prosecution.
Yes.
So far, how has been the collaboration between the Corps and the judiciary in terms of prosecuting some of these erring public?
Yes, if there's anything we have enjoyed in the Corps over the years is the strategic partnership with judiciary. They really assisted a great deal in being the pillar behind our success. It takes the judiciary for us to have vibrant mobile courts, which has given a good bite to our enforcement. Because, there are options of fines, and at times when you book people and you say, go and make your fine, there are contentions here and there. But when the enforcement is back with mobile court, the court has taken the decision. And yes, you can't confront the court unless you want to challenge or appeal. And that is what has been the trend. And that's why when the Corps Marshal came on board, the first line of action was to visit the judiciary, to appreciate them, and to also let them know that the only way we can have the best of this enforcement and assist Nigeria and deliver the necessary service that is required is for the judiciary to support us. And you can't talk of judiciary without talking of the support from the police, who is being given the mandate when it comes to criminal aspect of it to prosecute. And that's where this issue of the woman that assaulted our staff in 2024 actually came handy. People have been talking about civility. You agree with me that the incident really showed that you can't take that away from FRSA. That is the kind of training that have been given to our personnel, that under any form of provocation, they must be fair and firm at the same time. It's expected. Enforcement is a huge demand. And if you want to be reacting to all provocation, then everybody will have run out of the road. You saw what he endured. And that's why the Corps Marshal had to commend him, because it takes a man that has extra heart of passion to be able to endure what that lady did or perpetrated that day. But the case is in court. He's under prosecution now.
When people hear certain fines they have to pay when they've earned, that's their penalty.
Yes.
Sometimes you look at the fee they have to pay, it's not commensurate to the risk they have pushed, on the roads, maybe during driving and making calls. You don't know, you're also risking other people's lives.
Right.
Now, would some of these fines be reviewed? It's very important.
It's very important. It's very important. There's been series of efforts by the court to get that one done, and it's still ongoing. Even the Corps Marshal, Sheikh Mohammed, has made some proposition too, and I'm sure this new year we are going to follow it through. But necessarily all along, FRSA believe that the fine is not necessarily to kill somebody, but is just to deter, is to let members of the public know that if you hear, this is what you are going to see.
You know why I asked that?
Yes.
If I know, for instance, driving and calling, which I don't do.
Exactly.
So if I'm driving and I'm making call and I know there's a fine of 100,000 waiting for me, will I want to do that?
Has it stopped people from doing that in Lagos?
Oh well, I'm just saying.
Because the fines of every offense that is being committed is also huge in Lagos. But you still see the number of people that are arrested on daily basis. I appreciate where you are coming from, because truly we might not be able to judge by the face of it. The transportation sector is very dynamic. Yes. You have newcomers coming in. Yes. Maybe the man arrested yesterday is not the same one that is coming. So that man that experienced the huge fines yesterday will not want to repeat. You are right.
And that's why I said know the fines involved.
There's no ignorance, because the fines of FRSC is in the public domain. The fines of Lagos State traffic laws, they are all in the public domain, but we don't take time until it gets to us. But I know that effort is going to be made to review, because even within the management level, we've come up to say, is this thing biting enough? Because until we get scandalized by the number of lives that are being lost daily, you might not really appreciate where we are going. You just mentioned more than 3,000 deaths under 8 months. Have we ever encountered a disease that claimed such number in Nigeria? Even COVID never claimed that world issue that devastated the whole world. Nigeria never lost that number of people. So when we undermine what crashes as claimed from us, we appreciate where we are going. We need to be scandalized by what we are losing. That's why all hands must be on deck to support FRSC in managing this menace. Do you know that we arrested more than 500,000 offenders so far as at November last year, more than 500,000, and which translates that we were able to stop about 500,000 vehicles from being involved in road traffic crashes. Because what they were arrested for was what caused the other man to get involved in crashes. So that's the huge number of drivers we have saved and commuters that we have saved from getting involved in road traffic crashes. So it goes pari passu. It's a continual one. We are attacking them as it's coming. We are also facing it.
On different occasions, I've heard a particular statement talking about the fact that traffic offense is not a criminal offense. How true is that?
There are two sides to it. Traffic offense, on the face of it by law, is not a criminal offense. But it can end up translating into a criminal offense. Like under the traffic law, assaulting FRSC operative is under the traffic offense, which we have fines attached to it. But at the same time, the other side of it is a criminal offense, because you have committed an assault. Yes. So these are the two ways to it. But what I will say is, at times the force behind each offense determines whether this one will tilt to traffic offense. Like in the course of your driving, and you knock someone down on the highway, is it not a traffic offense? But it can fall under manslaughter. If the person got killed in the process, it can fall under manslaughter. Or maybe you don't have a driver's license and you kill somebody in the course of your driving. Do you still rate it under traffic offense? So that is the way we view it. It is a two-edged issue when it's in line with what the law under the traffic law can manage is rated traffic. But if you cheat towards the criminal aspect of it, is released to the police to manage.
If you want to agree with me, Mr. Ogungbemide, that a lot of road users are not knowledgeable with road signs and driving techniques. If you're a driver on the road, you know. It's not about the behavioral attitude. It's about their knowledge, on the knowledge of the road signs and then the kind of quality of drivers that are being churned out. Some don't even go through driving school. And also the state of maintenance of their vehicles.
Yes.
These are all factors that are leading to some of these crashes we witness on the road. Because even if you are sane on the road, is the next driver sane?
Yes.
Is the sensitization really radical? Because this is where the core must be consistent at all times. Beyond just once in a while or during the end of the year and all of that. It has to be radical.
FRSC have never failed in this regard.
Okay.
Right from January, we've been talking about advocacy. If you look at the Establishment Act 2007 that brought FRSC on bail, public enlightenment is a major focus
Okay, let me hold your thoughts. We have to take a break. Just ponder on your response. We'll take a break now. We'll be back. Please stay tuned.
What are we doing as a nation to first of all settle our teeming populace, especially the
NTA's political package with a third eye on the nation's political scene. I am Fisa Ogunfuyi. Welcome.
You have to be very careful giving space to people who are obviously sponsored to further the agenda of some other groups.
There's a lot of questions. A lot of questions in a closed door sessions. Some of these issues, some of the problems bedeviling of their.
In fact, between June 1st and July 17, 19-point-something billion has left the coffers of the NDDC.
I can say my constituency, they need everything because we don't have anything.
A method for digital literacy is a bot that you can use, you can interact to learn more about digital literacy.
Hello, it's our pleasure to have you join us on platform. I'm Ruth Aguwele.
What is the yardstick for measuring everybody's moral integrity? It's critical at this point in time.
How daunting has that been for the Institute in getting them abreast with all the legislative procedures?
The fact remains that one training workshop is not enough.
Thank you for staying tuned. The conversation is curbing road crashes effort so far. Mr. Ogungbemide, you were just going to share your remarks as to what I asked on the advocacy, sensitizing the populace, or rather road users on, road safety regulations.
And like I was just trying to put across that FRS is more than 36 years now. And the public enlightenment happened to be one of the cardinal responsibility given mandate given to us, and we have never failed in that regard. You agree with me that there's no day you on your TV or you check your radio or you heard about motor parks, you heard about our men distributing ambulances daily to sensitize members of the public. And we have this belief that for road users to be able to drive safely and effectively, there should be able to be an interface between the road and the driver. Any road that is not speaking to the driver, it's either the driver has issue or the road has issue. That's where the issue of signages actually come to be. Like you rightly said, the signages could be there, and the driver is not speaking, or is not speaking to the driver because he does not even know. He's an illiterate when it comes to that. I do have issues when I see some people. We do joke over one thing, that some people see all these road furnitures as decorations. They celebrate any country or any state where they see it. The Lagos state governor has beautified this state. They are not seeing that thing as passing message to them. They are seeing it because it's colorful there. So how do you expect such person to drive safely on that kind of road? We even went to the extent of reinvigorating our driving school policy, where we now have DSSP, that driving school standardization scheme, that all this why there have not been any standard. It's all commerce affairs. And we cannot be running after offenders on the road when we have the larger policy, a higher policy to tackle the problem. I can spend 5 hours with one person on the highway. Meanwhile, a policy can solve millions of problems. That's why I said, let us focus on this policy on driving. Let's get it from the roots. We now created a standard that for you to be a driving school, to be able to translate into individuals before they acquire driver's license, these and these are what you should have. Nigerians, at times, we have a way of circumventing issues. You still see some people trying to cut corner. Because this driving school scheme is so huge, you cannot access the portal if you have not gone through 26 days syllabus. and you are also going to be tested via CBT test. It's after that you now present yourself, because a certificate will be released that has a code. It's the code that can allow you to access the portal. It's after that you now present yourself to VIS. That's a vehicle inspection VIO for you to be given the test of proficiency. Has it really, the school it passed through, is it what's being given a driver's license before you are now allowed to go and pay? And look at the process put in place just for us to get it right. But you still see a situation where some articulated vehicles that you are seeing on the highway, do you know what it means to drive a tanker that is loaded? That's the most dangerous vehicle in the whole world. Yeah. And that man became a driver from being a motorboy and translating to a driver without going to the rudiment of driving. He does not even have a driver's license.
Is the court making arrests?
Well, if we are not making arrests, then what will have happened on the highway?
Now, let me.
On daily basis, you go to our various commands all over the federations. You see vehicles being impounded, and you see punishment being released upon these people.
No, concerning that, I would want to ask, based on the driving school itself. I remember vividly there was a report I did concerning this driving school, and I went as someone who wanted to register. I had my phone as a camera on, and realized that some of these driving schools, they connive with the applicants. And that brings back the question of what efforts are you making, or is the corps making or is there any TAC team put in place to monitor indeed? Because the man told me that once I register, I don't need to come for driving. I don't need to come for any lesson. I should just come back in the next 26 days. My certificate is ready. And this is how, the funny thing is that most of the people that were at that place, because I saw some people there, most of them, or if not all of them, were like that. They will just come and register, put the name there in the next 26 days, because they know that FRSA will want the total number of those that have registered for the number of days. Is there any TAC team put in place to read these people off the system? I'm talking about the quack or the dubious driving schools.
I'm not really handy with the record, but if you have been engaging with FRSA over the years, you know that we have zero tolerance to all these sorts of irresponsibilities. I call it irresponsibility because anything that has to do with life should be taken with every seriousness it demands. For men of intellectual ability to be able to sit down and say, let us come up with a policy. The more we try to go ahead of some people, the more they want to, circumvent the event. Something led us to introduction of that policy because we knew there were problems. And we come up, look at the narrative I gave, look at the process. In a Western world, will it not be celebrated? Today, FRSC driver's license or Nigerian driver's license is being recognized in some Western countries that you can even use it to drive, pending the time you get their own local driver's license. So why are we now creating problem from within? All in the interest of trying, is corruption, no two ways about it. But you agree with me that FRSA will never compromise when it comes to standard. On daily basis, we operate the portal. We have our inspectors that make regular monitoring. And when you are caught, you are delisted from the portal. And you are also prosecuted. That's why I say I'm not really handy with the figure I will have been able to give you. So it's what we do regularly. That's why you still see some, but it's like a kind of cat and mouse affair. When they feel, they are not coming, but my problem is not with the schools. My problem is with the applicants.
You know, it's sad though. When you get to other climes around the world, you see that before you even given a license, some people spend years before they get their license approved.
Really?
And every sign, you know, in some countries, every sign matters. There are speed limits, signposts, you know, giving a sign if you're over speeding. It's just technology. It goes a long way. I know Nigeria will get there somehow.
We are there already.
Okay, because...
You know why I say we are there?
Okay.
Because before you can have a standard driving school, you must have your simulation. The simulation is the technology we are referring to, where you are inside the room, and you are faced with a road, a highway, you are faced with trunk A, trunk B, trunk C road, and you are driving without leaving this room. You have all the signs, but that is what we call simulation.
You
that
know
is
where
we
I was
operate
getting
with.
at.
Yes.
Now, where you get to see a road user speeding beyond the speed limit at every road, and the signpost is there for your speed limits, there are fines. There are people watching. Now, it's not just the road safety officials. Even the security operatives are involved in this. They get fined for speeding. They get fined for breaking traffic rules and all of that. We don't get to see it really activated here. That's what I'm trying to say. Except there's a road safety official in front, then you see people buckling up and stopping the calls. When do we get to that point where you don't have to see the people around, but you're just adhering because you know there's something watching you?
You're more or less referring to technology of CCTV, where whatever you do is being monitored. And that's what has really assisted in reducing the interface between the physical law enforcement and the road users. I recall that there was a time we had all these cameras along our highway. It was initiated by Federal Road Safety Corps. And we had our radar guns that picks the offense or the speed that you are going. The radar on the highway, not the handy one, just installed it also to pick speed.
Yes.
But one challenge is vandalization.
Exactly.
Virtually all the technology put in place by government, one night, somebody will just go and uproot and use it to turn to spoon or turn to...
Even manholes, we see
even
them
manholes
being
all over the
uprooted.
places meant for safety of people are being used. And that's one major challenge we have. But I still believe, like I just told you now, in provision, what the commercial Sheikh Mohammed just did to say, okay, let us make use of mobile app. You have it. We have the introduction of a speed limit device. We are just trying to domesticate our own issues. We know the challenges we have. We might not be able, we are not there yet, but we should be able to operate within our own local space. What can we do for now to curb this? That is also the reason why we are introducing this arrangement now of saying, okay, let us have what we call the issue of our theme for this year is let us annex all our commuters to be part of us. People are saying, no, do they listen? Assuming he agrees to listen. I've entered the vehicle before, and the man was going on 140 kilometers per hour. And I complained he did not listen. I called the appropriate quarters, and he was called to order. From Onitsha Bridge to when I dropped from Ijebu, he reduced from 140 to 50 kilometers per hour.
Intentionally.
Intentionally.
Just to delay you.
Yes, I was delayed, but I was happy I got to my destination.
Yes.
So when it comes to issue of transportation, issue of safety on a highway, it's not just about road safety. It's everybody. You just mentioned the issue of what it takes to take driver's license in Western world.
Some
but your
countries.
people will come here and tell you that, can you imagine for how I've delayed? Meanwhile, the reason why he's insisted on getting his driver's license here is because he knows what he's going to face out there. But they make a mess of our driver's license here. They give us the impression that it's nonsense, that it's not worth it.
Then why are they coming for it?
Then why are you coming for it? Do you know the number of people that couldn't get a job because they don't have our driver's license here? And that is because we have been able to sustain the integrity of the driver's license to the point that it's now being recognized outside there. We are progressing on a daily basis. And as we make effort, they try to truncate it. And we are also going, the commercial now is leveraging technology. This year is going to be different. There's going to be much improvement in what we did. More equipment are coming.
Would you say the Corps has enough capacity, manpower, to carry out all of these tasks ahead?
When you look at what we have at hand, even enforcement alone can consume the entire world, because no matter how much technology you put in place, you still need that man.
That's the manpower.
You understand, you still need the manpower.
Yeah.
And when you look at all the various sections we have, that's why we've been having the support of federal government. There have been recruitment. As people are going, people are coming in. But we cannot have it enough. But what we have now, with the support of technology and the determination and good leadership, we are on course.
I remember vividly the early time of the new commercial when he visited the plant farm and others. And the purpose basically for to clear up the backlog of driver's license, among others. What are efforts to sustain this, and what's the level so far in ensuring that there's a quick, the applicants get their driver's license quicker than before?
Commercial and his policy was very sincere with Nigerians. He accepted the fact that there were problems, both external and internal. And he said he came on board to face it head on. In fact, in the last 6 months, it's been a win-win thing for us. Because all those things that have been moribund administrative-wise, relationship with partners, insiders, and what have you, he's been able to manage the situation that today, I can authoritatively tell you that there's great improvement in acquisition of driver's license and release of driver's license and number plates. As at the last count, we just activated an equipment that can produce 1,200 licenses in 1 hour, as against what we used to have. And we have more than
What was it before?
It used to be, we had itches where technology failed, and you realized that even beyond the 60 days that we were giving to members of the public, we couldn't meet up. So he was able to activate it. So if you have 1,200 be released in 1 hour, you imagine what is released in a day or a month and that. And it has really reflected in the number of licenses that have been released. More than 300,000 have been released of recent. And we still have so many licenses that are not claimed. The bulk of the people that are complaining that they've not seen their licenses for years, they refuse to go and check.
But the call was talking about the fact that some of the driver's licenses might be taken to the doorsteps of those applicants.
Yes,
efforts on that.
It's a prospect. It's a prospect because it doesn't come free too. And you have to get the buy-in of Nigerians. We can't go and spend out of our purse to take driver's license to people. So you
have to pay for
You
premium.
have to pay, yes, you have to. So we don't deceive people that we're going to activate what we know we don't have the capacity to handle. So, but at the point, like the commercial said, that where we are going is at the point of filling your form, you should be able to indicate whether you want the driver's license to be brought to your doorstep, and you know what goes with it, and that is where we are going.
Okay, so we're gradually winding down, and the year is just starting. It can be frustrating, Mr. Ogunbemide, as a road user, when you just see people not complying. I can imagine the frustration from your end when you're trying to get these road users, to comply with certain rules. And then talk more of the other drivers who are faced or contending with these other non-compliant road users. It can be really frustrating. So as we begin the year, really, what would you tell Nigerians as regard adhering to safety rules and ensuring that the person's life next to you, if you don't value yours, matters?
I think we should start from FCT.
Okay.
With what I've seen since I entered FCT, is so disheartening because they cut across status, gender, that you get to the traffic light, and while you park to obey the traffic, somebody will just made a detour behind you, beat the traffic. That while you park before the traffic, somebody has parked at the zebra crossing, which is meant for pedestrians to cross. Indirectly, you are saying the pedestrian should look for a ladder and climb your vehicle to go to the other side. And when you look at the content of the vehicle, you see responsible-looking people
with children,
wearing suits, with children that you are expected to, the future of tomorrow. Who some will even ask their parents, those that have been taught in school by FRSC, that mommy, why are you beating the traffic?
My daughter does
what
that.
Will you tell? What will you tell that child? I want us to get to a situation where those of us that are law-abiding will be able to look the irresponsible ones, head on and say, you are irresponsible. When we get to that point where we make them feel scandalized by what they are doing, I think we are going to get it right. We don't appreciate, if you are not in FRSC, maybe you only hear news that has to do with you. It's only when we read out that figure that you say, did you actually lose this number of people to road traffic crashes? As I'm talking to you, people are still dying on the highway because of recklessness of somebody.
People will be returning from the
holiday. People are still going to, they will return, and they're still going to face challenges of an irresponsible man. Where are you rushing to on 120, 140? Which journey are you going? These are the things we should ask ourselves. You are driving, you are making call. Knowing the implication of making call while driving. Until we all stand up and say, this menace that is claiming our loved ones, let's face it. Tell him he's irresponsible. Tell him he's not fit to be on that road. But as long as we continue to permit them, to appreciate and understand them, when he blows the horn, stay there and tell him to fly. Because FRSC cannot be everywhere. We did Operation Carrera recently. More than 1,000 of them were arrested. But still, you see them perpetrating the same thing all over the places. Don't we have conscience? And we go outside there and say the Western world is better than us. Are they not human beings?
And when people get there, they actually behave.
They behave. But when they come back, they say, this is my father. So your fatherland is irresponsible. Your fatherland is where everything bad should happen. Your fatherland is where we celebrate that Sweden has reduced its fatality to 1. While ours is in thousands.
It boils down to people adhering to rules. Thank you so much, Assistant Corps Marshal. He's also the Corps Public Education Officer, Mr. Olusegun Ogunbemide. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And well done. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
We just pray that the personnel, officials of the Corps are actually safe also on the road, because your lives too matters. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Oyeyemi Ajayi, our road safety man. Thank you so much for your time on platform.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we've been discussing ways to curb road crashes and, of course, the effort so far. It's the start of the year. You don't want to take stock of bad news or bad records. You want to keep going and achieve all your dreams, but you have to stay alive to do that. Your life counts, but you can only keep that when you do the needful. And that's Platform. I'm Ruth Aguilera. Bye.